and welcome back to Football Talk, the podcast. I've lost track of what episode number we're on, Josh, so let's just pretend
51.
I didn't say it. 51, thank you. Oh yeah, of course, because the big one was 50, wasn't it, where we talked about Spurs not winning the Champions League final. But
we talked about United finishing, what, 7th, 8th, was it?
Yeah.
Two play that game.
Yeah, shut up. You win. You win this round, Caudle. You win. We had a week off because, well, we couldn't agree on a time schedule and we're all around travelling places and there wasn't really much happening. So we've basically got 2 weeks of news to catch up on and quite a lot of things have happened. So, I mean, do you want to start us off? What's caught your eye the most in 2 weeks?
Probably, you know what? The one which really randomly stood out for me happened a few days ago, and it was Middlesbrough appointing their management team. Have you seen who they appointed as manager?
Jonathan Woodgate. Who's assistant? I haven't seen the assistant.
Robbie Keane is the assistant.
No, he's probably wanted to be assistant manager at Middlesbrough his whole career. A dream for Robbie Keane.
Absolutely, yeah. Ever since he was a kid.
Yeah.
But neither of those guys struck me as super professional people. They struck me as, well, professional to a point, but they also struck me as really like kind of lads and jokey and not the kind of guys I'd expect to be taking up management, especially in a championship club. I think it was a little bit of a surprise to me. But same with you?
Yeah, it is a surprise. I always just think, like, when the interviews are done, what do these guys possibly say? Like, what does Jonathan Woodgate say? Well, have you got any experience of being a manager? No, not really. Because an average Joe goes for an interview, don't they? And they ask you experience, and they ask about how you've built relationships in a team, or I don't know, some nonsense questions like that.
Yeah, we're HR interviews. Yeah, like, can you give us an example of the time you've dealt with a difficult member of staff? It's like,
exactly. It's like, well, what's Jonathan Woodgate? Well, I'll tell you about a time I got sent off, scored an own goal on my Real Madrid debut. Like. Is that?
I'll tell you about a time that I got done for a fray with a few of my Leeds teammates.
Yeah,
that was a pretty dark time.
I mean, how does that? I want to be a fly on the wall for an interview when an ex-player comes in with no experience whatsoever, or just coaching badges and no actual meaningful.
Well, you wonder
but it's like,
if the HR departments are that strong and they actually do need to go for a rigmarole, or if the owner's like, I want him, appoint him, done.
Well, it's I don't know, because nowadays, like the EFL's just introduced, haven't they? The same rule that the NFL has, that one black or ethnic minority manager has to be interviewed for every position. That got introduced over the last 2 weeks, I think it was. So, but yeah, like is there anyone out there that knows in the internet universe that knows how a football manager interview actually goes? I'd be very happy to find out more, because I don't understand. I don't understand how these people can get jobs. Like, okay, Frank Lampard's done a pretty good job at Derby, but how did he get what experience has he got to get that job before he got it? Like, he hasn't done nothing, has he? Yeah. He was just a good player. Yeah,
from our perspective, when we're going for jobs, say you come out of uni, you got no experience, it's like really hard to get a job, and you have to go start at the bottom, and you might get lucky, mate, start a little bit up, but not starting that high up.
I mean, the equivalent is probably like going to a medium-sized company and saying, I want to be the CEO.
I like the way, although it makes me feel really old, I think this whole episode of this podcast will make me feel really old.
Yeah.
Is the fact that there's players now who I mean, it wasn't like they were established players and now they're managers. We saw them come through the youth ranks and becoming managers. Like Woodgate, we saw the start of his career. Lee Bowyer, we saw the start of his career. Scott Parker, Frank Lampard, all now managing in the Championship. Well, maybe one of them won't be managing the Championship soon. And we're seeing them manage now. It's a bit scary.
Well, it's like James Milner. So when I saw James Milner lift the Champions League trophy, I was like, he's my age. And I've literally been tracking his sort of career since his senior career started, when he broke through at Leeds and was the youngest. I think he was the youngest goal scorer for a while in the Premier League or something.
Yes.
And
didn't he just beat Rooney, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. And it was like, and now now he's going to retire and become a coach or something probably. But cheers, Josh. Way to make me feel old.
Yeah, well, wait till the quiz. That'll make you feel even older.
Oh God. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, that was a tangent, and I can't. Yeah, Jonathan Woodgate. That's what we were talking about. Yes, very
Slaven
surprised.
Bilic at West Brom.
Yeah, that's more of a logical one. At least he's done something with his career. He's actually proved that he's a manager.
Yeah.
I think West Brom could go up. I think he could very much unify, because they just missed out, didn't they? They lost in the playoffs to Villa.
Yeah, sacked Darren Moore and went
a bit harsh, I think. Sacking
Yeah,
him.
I thought it was. Yeah.
But I think Slaven Bilic could do pretty well. It's all going to depend how the relegated teams do, obviously, isn't it? And will they implode, or will they invest wisely, ready to try and jump straight back up? But I think West Brom could be in with a good shout next year with Slaven in charge. I've always liked Slaven.
Agreed. Yeah. I think most people have. He seems like a very likeable character from just his punditry on the BBC during major tournaments. I think he leaves himself quite liked. He just seems like quite a nice character, doesn't he?
He does, and I think it's like whenever he did the punditry in he did a World Cup not too long ago that I remember, and it was him and two Englishmen. I think they had four people on, and it was him, Ruud Gullit, and two English guys, and you could just tell that Ruud Gullit and Slaven Bilic had attempted some form of further education and more education when their game had finished and everything, and like just seems so much more eloquent and clever, and it was brilliant. I like Slaven Bilic. I thought he was a really good pundit. Really hope he does well as manager. Gutted when West Ham sacked him.
Yeah. Oh, nice. The fixture list is out for next season. The Premier League fixtures. The Premier League never sleeps, does it? It may have finished a few weeks back, but they keep the kind of interest going by releasing fixtures.
Yes, and you get all
what
the
are your
people...
thoughts on opening fixtures then, Dave?
Well, I'll just want to say first off is that when the fixtures are released, you get all the people with their tinfoil hats on going, "Oh, it's a conspiracy. It's really horrible against my team. Look at my running compared to your running. It's done by a computer. There's loads of factors it has to take into it. No moaning, please, in the comments about opening day fixtures, because just deal with it. Just deal with it.
I imagine it's so hard to marry up because all the different things you've got to take into account. The fact that I know Arsenal and Tottenham can't play on the same day, or even kind of maybe even same week. I can't remember because of like the policing.
Yeah.
So the home and away element of it. You want to reduce travel time on like the Boxing Day fixtures and all these different kind of factors. And I imagine there's not many variables that can kind of come through.
Exactly. But I mean, opening weekend, because it's not all done on the same day now, is it? It's commercialised for
we
money.
have a Friday night match.
Yeah, Liverpool v Norwich.
7 matches on
Friday night.
Which
So,
I mean, Norwich fans won't have good memories of placing Liverpool, but at least Suarez isn't there now, so they can maybe get a 1 game loan back to them just to tear it up.
But I mean, like, would you want to go? If you were Norwich, would you want to have a first game back in the Premier League against the current Champions League winners and a team that finished 1 point behind the team that won it with a record style last season? Is that what you would want? Surely you'd want.
I doubt they'd be saying that sentence to themselves. That was a hell of a mouthful, but would they? I think. I wouldn't mind getting out my early doors done. Tick.
Really?
Face them. Because I don't think Liverpool Norwich stand any chance of getting a result away at Liverpool.
No, exactly.
Throughout the season,
you want to start.
It gets them salivating. They get to just facing Liverpool, fantastic under the lights. But you don't want I think they've got actually a tough start overall. Norwich, you don't want that because you don't want to get a kind of 4 or 5 matches in and have no points on the board, because their opening fixtures are away at Liverpool, home to Newcastle, home to Chelsea, away at West Ham, home to City. That could be really bad for them. Yeah,
exactly. So
in the sense that it all accumulates is bad.
Yeah, okay, the accumulation is bad. But if I was a Norwich fan, I want Carrow Road versus Brighton. That's what I want as my first game as a Norwich fan. Get the atmosphere going at home for the first game of the league season, and really fire the team up and see what's happening. That's what I would want. But at the other end of the spectrum, what do you think? Because obviously you're playing a newly promoted team for your first game in charge. The afternoon kickoff, late afternoon kickoff.
Afternoon, the 5:30 on a Saturday. I'm quite. This is Spurs' first home game on the opening day of the season. Properly home, not Wembley. It's in 8 years, 9 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
We're normally away at Newcastle seems to be a favourite, or Everton. Aston Villa. I don't really like facing promoted sides because you don't know as much about them.
again,
so
I'd rather take your
do it as
fixture than
unexpected.
the one Man United have got, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You don't normally get a big opening day, like a top 6 sides together, do you?
You don't, but I do remember when we had, I think it was Mourinho's first season, and we played Chelsea on like the 3rd game of the season, and it was one of the worst 0-0 draws I've ever seen, because neither team wanted to lose, so neither team attacked, because they were like, we can't give up points that early in the season. And I think this will be exactly this will be exactly the same, no matter who's in charge. I think it will be, you can't give up 3 points first game of the season. You'd rather get a draw and be 2 points behind the title rather than 3. So, but yeah, very tough start. So where do Spurs go after you have Aston Villa at White Hart Lane?
Ooh.
You have Man City.
At the London Stadium.
The London Stadium.
The Tottenham Stadium. Away at Man City, home to Newcastle, and then away at Arsenal. So it's a bit of a tough start.
Yeah, that is a tough start. I mean, we go Chelsea away at Wolves, which will actually be very tough, and then we have Crystal Palace at home, which once we've signed their best defender, they'll be easier to break down. So
yeah, we'll touch on that later on, because I see the price increasing by 10 million every day at the moment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, we can talk about transfers in a little while. But I mean, let us know in the comments, what do you think about your team's fixtures? If you're a newly promoted team, if you're a fan of a newly promoted team, let us know down below what you think. So Josh, just while we'll touch on it, the newly promoted teams. What do you think? How do you think it's looking? Obviously, there's no real signings been done yet. Villa have signed a couple of people. One that was, I think they've made El Ghazi permanent, and then they've signed the Wesley guy, who's a beast on Football Manager.
Wesley Moraes, yeah,
absolute beast on Football Manager.
And he's just a physical beast. He's a kind of he's not a kind of out and out full goal scorer, but he does bring a lot to the game. A lot needs to happen, because a lot of sides had kind of loans propping them up and players which aren't up to the level. So I think they do need to. It's always tough with promoted sides, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got a lot of change. You either don't change much and trust your players, but often they are kind of the nearly men. They go like kind of Cardiff this year. It's like they're just on that brink. They're not bottom of the pile, because they kept that continuity, but they just don't have that quality. But yeah, I think Premier League overall's got to get going, isn't it, with transfers?
It has. It's been a bit of a but I think that's because I think the Nations League has played a part in that, and then you've got obviously the Copa America, and is the African Cup of Nations on at the same time as well? I think.
African Cup of Nations is playing as well. You got under 21 Euros. So everybody's playing a little bit here and there.
Yes, I mean there isn't a sort of element of that things will be delayed, but I think in the background it'll all kick off. I think it's going to be a really, really good transfer window. I mean, should we go to transfers now? We've sort of gone in on a normal tangent.
No, I've got a few more bits of news. So just linked to the fixture list. Obviously, this is the first year that Amazon Prime have their selection. So they got 2 sets of 10 matches. So I think it's in the kind of Christmas period. So you obviously have your subscription, and you can tune it. You can watch whatever match you want, because it's just that midweek set of matches. And the good news is, what I've read so far is that they're not getting rid of their free trial. So they have a 30-day free trial, and both these sets of matches occur within 30 days. So time it right, you can get those sets of games for free.
Excellent. Well, there you go, listeners. Josh's top tip for watching Premier League football. Get Amazon Prime in December.
And we'll be doing that, Dave, because it's United Spurs will be shown on that, and the Merseyside derby.
Do we know what time the kickoff is for Man United Spurs?
It's midweek, so it'll be the kind of
it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock-ish.
Okay, so that's 4 o'clock in the morning for me then, I think. Maybe 3 o'clock.
There you go, Dave.
So I've got Amazon Prime, so I'll definitely be watching that 100%.
Yeah, just flick on the phone and just watch it while you're kind of snoozing.
No, I can't do that. I've got to get up properly and do it and watch it properly, otherwise I'll just fall asleep. So we could do a live pod along. I mean, that's never going to happen with the logistics, but imagine it. A live pod along. But anyway, sorry, you had some other stuff you need to discuss.
Yes, just the sad news of after his recent illness, Iker Casillas has retired.
Yes, yeah.
Just a little bit of a shout out to him. It's not surprising after going through such a trauma that he wouldn't play again, although he initially denied it and now confirmed it. It was just one of the one of the greats. It was just a bit sad to see him kind of shunted out of Real Madrid when he was, but yeah, fantastic keeper back in the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the best in when we were growing up, obviously, and like in that Spain dominating the world sort of bit in football. He was one of the best goalkeepers in the world, always up there with Buffon in my rankings, and just very, very good. I think everyone was very shocked when he moved to Porto. I thought it was like he was going to retire at Madrid, and that was it done. That was everyone knew that was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, an unbelievable goalkeeper. Very sad to see him retire now early. So.
Absolutely. What else do we have? Sarri has all but joined Juve.
Yes, that's very big. Well, I read that Juve fans didn't want him.
Well, there's kind of a Napoli piece, and yeah, well, I suppose actually we'll touch on that later, because the secondary link to Sarri going is the potential new Chelsea manager, which we had a poll about. So we'll talk about that after we talked about the WIKI files. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Some quick bits of news then. So Portugal obviously won the Nations League. Ukraine have won the Under-20s World Cup.
Yep.
And then, I mean, both. I mean, well done Portugal. With the Under-20s World Cup, it's quite nice. It's nice seeing different nations win it, and compared to the kind of the senior tournament. So South Korea, Ukraine final. It's always quite nice to see, and it's always good to look back in like 5-6 years' time and see what players didn't make it, because so many don't. It's always strange, isn't it?
I mean, just touching on Portugal winning the Nations League and stuff, do you think it... Now, obviously, this could be a bit of bitterness because England didn't win it, but do you think it sort of lost momentum? It seemed like everyone was on a high, not just England fans, but all the fans that qualified for the finals, as they call it, the semi-finals that were held in summer. After the qualifying, it seemed to be at a massive high, and then when the summer actually came around, it was sort of like, oh yeah, this has got to happen. I forgot about this sort of game.
Well, it's a bit of an odd one, because nothing else. You go straight into semi-finals.
Yeah,
it builds that momentum, and it has 6-7 months gap. And then he goes, "Hey guys, you remember we played this thing? We've got the semi-finals now." It's like, oh, I didn't really remember. And it'll be partly because it's new, and it's like, oh, I forgot this happened, because this is the first time it's happening. Maybe in years to come it'll become more. But I mean, watching the games, the commentators are going, "Oh, this is obviously a major tournament. They're so up for this." It's like, oh, stop trying to really force that down my throat. All right, it's not. It's just players will always play a competitive match. Unless it's unless they don't, but you get them out there, and it normally becomes competitive. If it's of a high standard, they'll go for it. They don't want to. There's a whole stadium full of people. There's cameras there. They're going to put on a show. So I don't think it meant too much.
At the end of the day, they're still professionals representing their country, so they're going to work their socks off, aren't they? And in my mind, it just sort of lost all that momentum and all the upbeatness that it had from the English fans and the Portuguese and the Dutch and everybody. And you haven't really seen or heard too much of the celebrations from the Portuguese. It was sort of like, Portugal won it.
Hear about their open-top bus parade.
Yeah, exactly. So, a bit of news then. Did you see Japanese teenager Kubo move to Real Madrid?
Yes, after a bit of funnies with his contract, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was. Well, there's two stories here. So he was signed by Barcelona, and then they had to basically send him back because they bought him as part of their youth transfer breach of what it was when they got that transfer ban. Mm-hmm. So they actually bought him, and then he had to go back. And then here was it Barcelona and Dortmund or something like that assumed his contract was running out in 6 months' time rather than now. So Real Madrid actually looked at his contract and signed him up relatively cheap, I think.
Yeah, his contract lasted until his 18th birthday, when he could move back to he could move and therefore go back to Europe, and everybody else thought it was lasting a couple of months longer. And so well done Real Madrid, they got it because they delve into the detail.
Yeah. A quick question for you, Josh, that I found out when I was reading about this transfer. Why are Japan in the Copa America?
Aren't Qatar also in the Copa America?
I have no idea. I haven't really been paying any attention to it, so...
I mean, I imagine it's similar to why Australia were in the Eurovision. money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't looked into it, but yeah, I never particularly like things like that. It's like it seems to make a mockery of things.
Yeah, okay. Qatar are in it. That's very weird.
I mean, that's obviously a mockery. As soon as I hear Qatar, I think money.
You mean the World Cup wasn't won on a fair bid, and they beat everyone fairly and squarely to host the World Cup in a stadium?
I still can't.
In a country
I'm still
that didn't have
waiting to
stadiums?
find out.
Yeah, what's going to happen?
I'm waiting to find out what happens with the blooming season when that as it occurs. Does anyone know yet? It's not been released, and I've not seen it. Of what's happening to the standard football season when we've got a Winter World Cup?
I don't think anyone really knows. But because in Football Manager, to use that as where they normally try to build these things in, as a barometer. Football Manager just say FIFA have changed the destination of the World Cup. It's going to be held in Canada. So, like Football Manager they don't even build it in. They just be like, yeah, Qatar just move it to get like Qatar got rejected by FIFA.
The programmer's like, oh, I can't be doing this. I don't even know how to even approach this. Let's just move it somewhere else.
Yeah. So. But I don't know. But obviously, going back to the fixtures, though, this is the first fixtures of the Premier League season that's going to have a 2-week break, isn't it?
It's a clever little break as well, isn't it?
Is it just after Christmas? I think it is, or is it?
Yeah, it's just after. It's February time. Yeah, it's clever.
Yeah, so you still get games.
So
everyone still plays, but you get a week off, and it's very confusing.
Yeah, so they stagger it. So like 10 teams play one weekend, 10 teams play the next weekend. So you still get 5 games to watch, but they actually get themselves a little couple-week break, and then replays in the FA Cup are abandoned from 5th round onwards. They're just extra time penalties. So 3rd and 4th round still get replays. That's where you have your peak lower league sides getting their getting cash rich from replays, but then it's scrapped later on. So yeah, I think it's very, very good.
What benefits do you think we'll see with the players getting a 1-week rest? Do you think there'll be any visual benefits? Do you think the England team will benefit? Do you think the players will have less burnout, etc.? Or do you think it's just everyone's sort of moaning about it, so let's
well, it's hard because it's not the only variable, is it? So it might be that years gone by, England players have been injured in that time, and so they didn't play. They came back and maybe they're a bit fresher. Maybe now that they play through, and so they actually do play more minutes, and it's concentrated in different times. It's not the only variable, but I think that hopefully you'll see less injuries from it, because it just as fatigue builds and continues to build without any rest, injuries come back. But one thing I've noticed with Spurs had a kind of a bit of a 2-week break in the season because of I think being out of the cup, and we had a bit of a break, and then obviously the break which led to the Champions League final. We did not come back all guns blazing after that break. It took us, well, who knows, we'll have a Champions League final, maybe we'll be up and running in a few weeks' time, who knows. But after that break mid-season, probably around this time, a little bit later, maybe March time, we really just never really got back up and running. And so, yeah, I think you may see a little bit of a dip in some clubs' form having that break.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So, I'm not completely sold on the idea. I don't think it's going to be a massive game changer, but you don't know.
I think it stops people complaining about it, doesn't it? It closes the door of complaints going. Yeah.
And I think they've had a lot of people, like managers and ex-players, that have said, a break would be great. So I think you're right. They've introduced it as a sense that, well, it's there, so we've done all we can, sort of thing like that, like from the FA. So yeah, have to see how it goes. Very quickly then, touch on the Women's World Cup. I've been watching a few of the highlights. England not off to the most auspicious start, but have got 6 points from 2 games with a goal difference of +2, so can't really complain. Not sure if you've been watching any of it, Josh, because I know it's on I think it's on during the day, isn't it, and the weekdays, so you'll probably be at work. But yeah,
no, I've got a little bit of, again, some highlights, but yeah, no, I haven't. I've watched too much. But,
okay.
So a few little bits, and it looks. It's well supported, which is quite nice to see.
It's definitely on the up, I think. It's definitely on the up.
Yeah,
I quite like women's football. I quite like watching it because I take it as I don't compare it to the men's game. I watch it as a different game, and I judge them all on their own merits. And I think England have got a very good team. I'm hoping they can go quite deep into the tournament, and yeah, I look forward to seeing how Phil Neville does. That was a very strange appointment as well, but hopefully he'll do quite well.
Phil Neville's just odd anyway, isn't he?
He is a little bit odd, yeah. So let us know if you're watching the Women's World Cup down below. I know that we've got a few fans on Twitter that do watch it because they've been posting about it, so it'll be interesting to know all your thoughts on everything to do with the Women's World Cup. But Josh, you've got a quiz, and I'm very excited because I haven't had a football quiz for a while.
Okay, here we go, Dave. We'll quiz it up. So
did we have a theme tune for the quiz? Did we have a theme tune for the quiz?
We should do, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a... Yeah, anyone got any, because for WIKI FILES, we've obviously, in case you don't know, we have played homage to The Simpsons.
The Quickie Mart. Yeah.
Who needs a Quickie Mart? I do. But what can we do for the quiz? Any suggestions? Any kind of... any references we can pull upon for a quiz? So yes, let us know, and we will adopt your favourite one.
Better than that, if you want to create a jingle for the quiz, send it. Let us know on Twitter at Football Talk, but there's no A in football. Come and find us. Sign up to us if you think you've got a jingle or you want to make a little jingle. Yeah, please let us know. That'd be wonderful. Saves me a bit of work.
Yeah, we'll credit you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll credit where credit's due.
Right then, Josh, I'm ready. Hit me, quiz.
Okay, right. So yesterday, when we filmed this, yesterday was the 15th of June, wasn't it, Dave?
Yes. Was it?
2019.
Yeah, it was 15th of June 2019, yeah.
Correct. What happened 23 years ago yesterday, Dave?
Oh my god.
This isn't the main
Euro
quiz.
1996.
It's not the real quiz. Euro 96. And what game do you reckon was played on that said day?
England, Germany. No, England, Scotland.
England, Scotland. 23 years ago.
Oh my god.
Scotland versus England.
I feel so old.
Yeah. Yeah, so my quiz for you, and if you think this is too harsh, I'll kind of adjust it, but I want you to name our starting 11.
Okay, I'll give it a go. Right.
Yep.
David Seaman.
Correct.
Stuart Pearce.
Correct.
Tony Adams.
Yes, loving the fact you're doing this in
yeah, I'm trying to go across the back, yeah.
Order,
who would have played next to Tony Adams?
That should be obvious.
Martin Keown?
No,
I really think I'm forgetting
obvious from the tournament.
Oh, Gareth Southgate, yeah.
Gareth Southgate, yes.
Right back, Gary Neville.
Correct. So you have the back five done and dusted.
Now, right wing, Steve Stone.
No, you are wrong.
Steve McManaman.
He came on as sub in the 80th minute.
Was it Steve McManaman?
No, he played left wing.
Oh, okay, well, shove him in at left wing.
Yeah, you've got that.
Yeah, Gaza.
Oh, he played, yeah.
Paul Ince.
Yes.
Oh, who was right? David Beckham wouldn't have been playing, would he? At right wing? No, that was far too early. Okay, I'll move to the strikers, which was Shearer.
Yes.
Was he partnered by Sheringham?
Yes, Shearer and Sheringham. This is very impressive,
I'm
Dave.
just missing the right winger.
Yes, and I would know this right winger. I know this right winger.
Darren Anderton.
Darren Anderson. Oh my goodness, Dave.
Do you know what I've got? Right, in my head, I've got it lined up in Pro Evo something or other, where you could get the classic England team, and it was their starting 11 in that was the Euro 96 team. And it was Pro Evo something like 4 or 5 years ago or something, the classic team. But yeah, I always thought it was Steve Stone starting at right wing, but he came on to replace Anderton, did he?
He came on to replace Paul Ince. So the subs were... This is one I can't quite get my head around, is that... at half-time, Stuart Pearce at left-back was replaced by Jamie Redknapp. And I can't remember the game. This is my first tournament watching as a kid. And I'm trying to think how this works as a side. Like, who fills in at left-back? Do they go to a back three? And McManaman and Anton play kind of wing-backs? Yeah, it's the only way I can think it works.
That's all I can think of, really. Yeah, is that you would move Gary Neville into the centre-back position and have... I guess you would play Southgate left, Adams in the middle, Neville on the right of a back three, and then have Anderton / Steve Stone as your right wing back, McManaman left wing back, Ince and who'd you say came on? Ince and Gaza,
Jamie Redknapp,
and Jamie Redknapp in the middle. So Gaza playing attacking midfield in behind Shearer and Sheringham.
Yeah.
That's a bloody
And
good team.
Jamie Redknapp came on and got subbed off in the same match. So he got subbed off in the 85th minute for Sol Campbell.
That is so weird. So
Yeah,
Jamie
Terry
Redknapp,
Venables playing.
yeah, he was Jamie
Five-year
Redknapp was
chest,
with the go-to 3-5-2, and then when it goes back to a 4-4-2, Jamie Redknapp just can't play in a 4-4-2. Is that what we're learning for England? Like they said, like Gerrard and Lampard couldn't play together, but Jamie Redknapp just flat couldn't play in a 4-4-2 for England.
Yeah.
He can only play in a
So
three-back formation.
we'll put this on hard mode. Can you name any of the Scotland 11?
Colin Hendry, because he got done by Gaza.
Yes.
Nigel Marshall in goal. Was it someone like that?
No. You should know this
Yeah.
goalkeeper. I think he had a little spell
Andy Gorham.
at United, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Hutchinson. Would he have still been there?
No, he didn't play.
Oh. McCoist. That's rolling back the years.
Ali McCoy came on as a sub in the 67th minute for another forward who I've not heard of.
Okay. Let me just. I must know some more of these Scottish guys.
Yeah, you definitely will know some more. So you'll know a striker, you'll know a left winger, you'll know both their centre mids, and you'll know maybe another defender.
Oh, both their centre mids. You said that with such emphasis that I.
Oh
know
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, one is famous for Coventry and Liverpool. Was captain.
Oh my god. I thought that was Don Hutchinson.
Don Hutchinson was more West Ham. I remember Don Hutchinson for.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, who was Scottish that played for Liverpool?
Yeah, bald. He joined Liverpool quite old, and he had a lovely delivery on him.
Gary
lovely. McAllister. Gary McAllister.
Yeah.
He was joined in centre mid by a man who has done a bit of management. Maybe managed. He's ginger, but I think managed maybe Bradford.
Oh, yeah, Stuart McCall.
Yeah,
falling off a car.
Him celebrating on top of a car. Yes.
Yeah, he's hammered. He's absolutely hammered when Bradford got promoted to the Premier League.
Yeah. Just bump onto the bonnet, onto the roof, and then off.
Oh my god, was that their central midfield?
Do you know?
Was that their central midfield?
Yeah,
McCall,
yeah.
No wonder we beat them. Jesus.
But joined on the left by well, I was going to make a joke about the former Fulham Dutch striker, who we have had as a WIKI FILES. He's got a very similar name, but this guy, I think, had a penalty or scored a penalty in the opening game of the '98 World Cup against Brazil.
Paul McGrath.
Is that right? No, it's John Collins.
John Collins. Oh yeah, Paul McGrath's Irish.
Yeah.
But who scored for Ireland against Brazil in the World Cup? That was ages ago. Is that like Ray Houghton or something? Anyway.
Oh my goodness, Dave, that is fast beyond me.
Yeah.
Gordon Jury up top.
God.
He was joined by John Spencer. I don't remember John Spencer.
Was he ex-Chelsea, John Spencer?
Don't recall. I'm sure
I'll
some
have a quick
listeners
look.
will know.
Yeah,
one.
Brett will know. He's a big Chelsea fan. Well,
Yeah.
if he's not, then he might not know. But
Yeah. Colin Calder at the back. Yeah. So I mean, looking back, I mean, how did that Scotland side get to a major tournament?
John Spencer, notably in the Premier League for Chelsea and Everton. Nailed it.
Oh my
I'll take that as
Dave.
a win. Yeah.
Oh, you're on top of this today, aren't you?
He got nominated for the Landon Donovan MVP Award and the MLS Comeback Player of the Year Award in the same year when he was in America. Anyway,
Well done.
sorry, back to the Scotland 11. What am I missing?
Yeah, no, we'll leave it there. I imagine
okay.
it's not most entertaining of listening, so unless you're Scottish and you loved reminiscing about losing to England, we'll leave it there.
Okay, well, I'm very happy with my performance in that.
That's very good,
happy.
Dave. Yeah.
Well, it was the era, Josh, wasn't it? It was the first internet. I look back very fondly on that. And every time I think of it, Gaza's stretched out leg against Germany, I always think he was so close to it. But when you watch it back, he's actually not that close.
No, it's one of those ones where he does that drive afterwards, and it's like I don't think he's ever gonna. Yeah, we had that little stutter. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, good quiz. It was. If I wasn't such a loser, that would have been really tough. So, but yes, very, very happy with that one. What other memories do you have from Euro '96? What's your standout memory from Euro '96?
Because it was all around England. I think I remember first setting eyes on. Is it Mustafa Hadji and Yusuf Chipo?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
No, it can't be.
Mustafa Hadji would have been there, yeah. Hadji, no, Georgia Hadji would have been
No,
there.
it wouldn't. No, it can't be. Because they play for Tunisia or Morocco. They've messed up some memories here.
Oh, are you thinking of when we beat Tunisia in the World Cup and Paul Scholes scores an absolute spanker? Maybe you're thinking of that.
Yeah.
My Euro '96 standout memory is beating Holland with that absolutely
Yeah.
amazing goal we scored, where
The little
Shearer,
layoff.
yeah, and then Shearer just absolutely wallops it into the roof of the net and gives us I think that puts us 2-1 up. I think, but yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I love that tournament. And I want a free football.
Saving penalties. I remember,
Yeah.
against Spain, isn't it? Before, well, we've done a few now, but it was our last penalty shootout win for a little while, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then obviously we messed it up. Then the next one, but yeah, I want a free football.
Was it? I can't remember if it was France '98 or Euro '96. I collected those coins. You remember those coins?
Oh yeah,
like Sainsbury's.
Petrol station.
Yeah.
And you had like Sven. And can you name the 3 goalkeepers that are in those coins? Little quiz back at you.
No, Dave.
David Seaman, Nigel Martin, and Tim Flowers.
Seaman's gonna be one.
There you go.
Wow. There you go. God, I didn't give you a chance.
I didn't even give you a chance.
You're a knowledge bomb today, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you're talking. It's like my era. I was going to say then. You're talking a big lot of memory I've got in my head that I shouldn't really be keeping in there. Imagine all the useful stuff that this is keeping out. What else I could absorb if I didn't have this nonsense about football in there?
Don't discredit yourself. I'm exactly the same. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
It needs to stay in there.
Exactly. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do this podcast. What's the point?
Absolutely. No one to listen to this other crap that's going to be filling it. No.
No. It's just a quiz in the WIKI files. I think that's the main pool.
Yeah.
But so yeah, good. Yeah, good quiz. Very happy with that. So what was next on the agenda? Did you want to go to the poll? Or do you want to go WIKI files?
No, we're going transfers. We're talking transfers.
We're talking
mate.
transfers.
Yeah, talking
Okay.
transfers.
Great then.
So we'll have a little look at some done deals and then a little bit of a rumour mill chat as well.
Ooh. Well, this will be going on through the next few weeks, won't it? This rumour mill chat. Because
Absolutely, this will be a recurring theme.
Up until deadline. So.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Well, done deals is pretty limited, but obviously there's been one big done deal, and I think we all kind of knew it was going to happen, but it's finally done.
Patrick Roberts has moved to Norwich. Sorry, Eden Hazard. Yeah. Eden Hazard.
Yeah, Patrick Roberts isn't going to be a success. He's not.
No. But yes.
Sorry, Patrick. Yes, Eden Hazard has joined Real Madrid, and as with about 4 or 5 other people who joined Real Madrid, that is the big move of the summer. And I mean, I'm sad to see him go because he's a fantastic player.
It's due, though, isn't it? It's due.
And I think the only problem is that for Real Madrid fans, it's like you're probably getting him a couple of years too late.
Nah,
I mean,
he's hitting
28.
peak now. He's hitting peak.
But I think they could have.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They could have got him a couple of seasons ago, but I don't think we've seen the best of him. I still think he's got another little gear to go, surrounded by better players, and I'm just hoping that like the toxicity that could be in Real Madrid doesn't affect him, and that he can ignite La Liga.
Yeah,
but
I mean, Real Madrid have got to be the biggest club in the planet, haven't they? The lure they have for players, even when they're not actually performing, like they were pretty diabolical in the league or Champions League, but they still have that lure. Just got players going, I want to be there, and partly that's Zidane, seemingly with I think Mendy, Ferland Mendy's joined from Lyon, the left back, and he's like, as soon as Zidane spoke to me, I want to go. And part of you have those kind of people as spokesman for your clubs and obviously manager for your clubs, it really does help, but it's just that seemingly lifelong lure of being able to put on that white shirt of Real Madrid, isn't it?
It is, and I think he's like in the press conference I saw he did it for his first print. He was very humble about it all, wasn't he? Like, you know, I'm not a Galactico, but I'll try to.
He always has been.
But I think it's. Is that what the Madrid fans want, or do they want someone to come in and be like, "Yeah, I'm a Galactico. I'm going to rule this and be absolutely amazing"? I mean, because the other thing,
I don't think. Yeah.
I'll say, did you see his unveiling video where the fans were chanting, "We want Mbappe"? Like, how rude is that? Like, ridiculous.
Well, they are Real Madrid fans, probably the worst fans on the planet from my objective point of view. They treat my beloved Gareth with absolute disdain. So
very true. They're very spoilt, I think. Real Madrid fans. They're very used to it. So yeah, that is a big one. Do you reckon it'll start a merry-go-round? Do you reckon there'll be? Well, I guess it depends on something else we've said in
Well,
the poll, doesn't it? So
the problem is it can't start a merry-go-round because Chelsea can't buy any blooming players.
yeah, very true. Yeah,
It's going to sit on some cash.
So yeah, well, Abramovich will pocket it when he'll just look at the financials and say, "Oh, let's pay our stakeholders." Who's the stakeholder? Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, okay. Let's pay me.
Yeah,
so,
but it's quite. It must be very exciting being a Real Madrid fan at the moment. Obviously signed, as I mentioned, Mendy at left back. Signed Eden Hazard as somewhat left wing, I suppose. Jovic up front. I think that's quite a good purchase. Probably one of the more affordable young centre forwards they could have got. I couldn't think of for that kind of money. It seems to have normalised a little bit. I think transfer fees because there's not. I mean,
really, Hazard is a potential 150 million. That's not normalising.
Well, yeah, but it's. I don't know how. It's hard to work out what that potential is made up of. But it's, basic was like 88, wasn't it? And you think the player that he is. I know a year left in his contract, but I think you in that summer of Coutinho and Dembele and
true.
Neymar and Mbappe transfers, you thought you'd seen regular £100 million transfers now, but we're not.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. That's very true. On the Jovic thing, so it hasn't been announced how much they paid for him. It's supposedly above 50 million. Frankfurt bought him for £6 million in April. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the Benfica weirdness, isn't it? They got rid of a couple of strikers after being on loans, and I suppose it must be their business model, but it's nice
very
work
bizarre.
for Frankfurt as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, coming a bit closer to home then, some things in the Premier League. Lucas Perez has left, Edmilson Fernandez has both left West Ham. I think Lucas Perez is always a bit of an odd signing. They needed a striker, so they panicked bought him from Arsenal.
Yeah.
Edmilson Fernandez came with quite a lot of promise and never really filled it. I don't think.
No, he didn't really deliver, did he?
No, he always looked like he was gonna grow into a good midfielder or maybe a holding midfielder, but then never really got into it. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in Germany. I think he's moved to for Mainz. And then you've got the big clubs. I mean, Man United have bought Daniel James. I'll talk about him for a little bit. Actually,
I do like a.
What do you think?
James.
Yeah, what do you think about as an outsider? What do you think about signing 15 million? Is that risk free in today's current market?
Absolute no-brainer that transfer. He's young enough and he's got the physical capabilities to be able to, in the right coaching, to push on. He's homegrown. 15 million is absolutely nothing these days. Tick, no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm quite excited about it. It's another pacey forward sort of player. He looks like he ends a bit of end product, and Solskjaer could probably coach that into him for finishing. And it looks pretty, like you say, no-brainer, risk-free. Daniel James coming in. Swansea held out for a good amount of cash. I think 15 million will be good for Swansea. Yeah, and like you say, it's a drop in the ocean for a club like Man United. Other than that, are there any real... We touched on Wesley from Bruges to Villa, about how good he could be.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, West Ham have signed Pablo Fornals from Villarreal.
Yeah. Interesting one. That one. Haven't seen too much about him. His highlight reel looks good, but...
Yeah, lovely balanced player, doesn't he? Looks a little bit kind of Lanzini played, so you wonder about his future after come back from a big injury. My caveat with signing those kind of, not the top level, that second level, maybe of attacking players from Spain or abroad, it's not normally a first season thing that happens. It's normally a kind of bedding in process, so I'll be reluctant to say he'll be a success this season. I think anything you can get out of him this season is good. And I always say buying players from abroad, simply more so attacking players, is that you give them a year, because they very rarely hit the ground running straight away.
Yeah, very true. A very interesting transfer that's happened is Jota signing from Birmingham to Aston Villa, which won't go down well in the Midlands, I can tell you that for now. It's a very interesting deal, undisclosed fee, which really annoys me when they're doing that. But they sent Gary Gardner the other way, which is strange.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, so not too sure. I mean, I didn't really hear too much about him in the Championship. Jota, I know he was pretty good, but 8 goals in 72 games for Birmingham in the Championship doesn't really smell of a Premier League sort of player. But
no, it doesn't.
But yeah, it's a very interesting one.
Yeah.
And then obviously
the
our
only other one
friend. Oh, go on. Yeah, go on.
The only one was Gineppo. I don't know if I pronounce it, for Southampton.
Yeah, I was going to just talk about that one to see if, like, obviously we got a mutual friend that's a big Southampton fan, so
yeah,
and he hasn't mentioned too much about it, so
no, he hasn't, and I think again, not fully aware of him, but seeing again highlights reel, he looks similar to Mane. Got a really big, quick burst of pace. Seems to operate on the left flank. Seems quite good at dribbling, but Mane's got that deceptively good end product as well. But some kind of early moves going on from the kind of mid-table sides, from abroad, kind of what you don't consider stupid money, kind of 15 to 20 million range, but still big money overall. But you do wonder if they are going to be top level players, or if there could have been potential promotions from within. It could have done something like that.
I mean, it's a strange situation where 15 to 20 million is not seen as a risk anymore, isn't it? Like, I mean, the chances are that Musso Gineppo for Southampton, they say they bought him for, let's say 15 million. I don't know how much it actually was, but let's say at 15 million, the chances are they'll be able to sell him to another club in Europe somewhere for 15 million in a year's time if it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
and it's just mental that it's like that now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I find it very, very strange. But yeah, I mean, going to Spurs then, obviously the countdown continues until you last signed a player. So what do you think is going to happen with Spurs? Do you reckon you've got anyone lined up? Have you heard any rumours you like the sound of?
500 days now. 500 days to last sign a player.
Any rumours you like the sound of for Spurs? Or
yeah, a lot more. Any rumour basically signing players. But yeah, so we've kind of been linked with Ericsson. Had a little bit of a chat with the Danish media the other week, saying that if Real Madrid or Barcelona or something like that would come into him, he'd jump a chance for a new challenge. But if it didn't happen, he wouldn't go. And to be honest with you, I don't see it happening. I actually don't see him as good enough for that top level.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's at Spurs' level.
Yeah. When
we had Modric, I was like, Modric is far. And bear in mind, we were a lesser side back then, but still, I thought Modric was just like, the world's best in his position. I thought it was just sublime.
Talking about Modric, very quickly to interrupt you, I was listening back to the Peter Crouch podcast, so I've been listening back to old podcasts they put out when it first started up, and he was talking about when Harry Redknapp was in charge, talking to Wilson Palacios, and just said, your job is to tackle and just pass the ball to Modric wherever he is.
See Modric and pass it to him. Yeah.
So I just really, really like that. And Peter Crouch said that Modric is the best player he's ever played with. So yeah, he clearly was on a different level. But sorry, get back to the Spurs transfer.
Yeah, and so I think that although rumour of Ericsson departing, I just can't see anyone of that same new challenge for me is going up to the top level and winning leagues. Whether someone like PSG or Bayern would go, but I think that's for the league winners. You've got Juve, PSG, Bayern, Real Madrid, and Barcelona is where I'd see him going. At the moment, I don't see anyone coming in for him, and that kind of impacts a lot of our players who've been linked with you. I think maybe that linking has come off the back of potentially selling Ericsson. So like the Lo Celso rumours.
Yeah.
I think is that as an Ericsson replacement. I can't see us getting someone like Ndombele and him in at centre mid and keeping Ericsson. That would just be a crazy amount spent. But I do like the players we were linked with. So two I've just mentioned: Zaniolo from Roma, Van der Beek from Ajax, Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham. I think we'll sign a couple of centre mids, well maybe a defensive mid, centre mid, a winger and a forward. So. Just to liven it up a bit. I think the big money is going to be centre mid, and Ndombele, if he signs, is going to be. I will be the happiest man.
Okay, yeah, cool. I think Ryan Sessegnon will go to Spurs. I don't think Liverpool.
I do. I think it seems like a match made in heaven.
What about on the outs then? So it looks like Trippier unsure after the season he had. Danny Rose has been rumoured to go, and
Danny Rose. I think Danny Rose also kind of was potentially moving out last year. I don't know if he did a documentary, Danny Rose, along with Prince William and Peter Crouch around mental health.
Yeah.
And he was saying that last year he was speaking to a club and they was like, we need to, I think he said something along the lines of, we need you to speak to someone to make sure, someone kind of interview you to make sure you're not crazy. It's like, what the
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just then. So he's clearly kind of speaking to someone last year about moving, and to be honest with you, I absolutely love Danny Rose. I'd be sad to see him go. I think he's been one of our better players this season. He's come back to somewhat near his best because he had a bit of a tough time with injuries the year before. I'd be sad to see him go at left back. I think keep the current left backs Davies and Rose, and then they've both got a few years left in them, so I don't think it's a vital position to change. But Trippier at right back, get out.
Okay.
Go. And also with players like Wanyama,
Brutal.
Lamella, Janssen, those players can go because they just don't play enough. There's very little point having them in our squad. They might be potentially have a couple of good games, but who's going to play the other 36 games of the season?
Is that not the problem with Spurs in general, though? No matter who you bring in to replace those players when you leave them, they're not going to play that much because you've got Kane up front, you've got your wingers sorted, you've got your central midfielder sorted, you've got your defence pretty sorted.
No, I mean we play a lot. I mean must have played close to like 60 games, and so I think if we had the better players around it to rotate, we would have done. Wanyama, for example, it was just a lot of injuries and just. Well, I mean, we had to play Sissoko, and it turned out okay in the end. But Sissoko isn't a long-term answer, and a lot of players are having to play more games than they need to and become injury-prone and suffer injuries. And Harry Kane has never been a real viable backup for him, so he has to play. I know he will play most, but there's some games like early League Cups and FA Cups where he doesn't have to play. Even some Champions League matches, if you get a good draw, you don't have to start him. You can bring him on, but often we're our hands forced to play them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
So what about United? I've seen a lot of players linked out and linked in. So De Gea linked to PSG, Lukaku seems to be on his way to Inter, Pogba to Real Madrid, but then a few ins. Lots of ins. So Wan-Bissaka in, Onana is replacing De Gea, which I think would be a massive mistake. What are your thoughts so far of your rumour mill?
Well, I think it's rumours of 52 players in or something. I think Man United have been linked with in this summer alone. But I think the rumour mill. I think Pogba will stay. I don't think he'll go. I don't think.
You reckon?
Yeah, I don't think clubs have got. I don't think Barcelona won't pay the sort of cash that Man United want. Juventus would pay it, but they don't have the cash, and they'll need to offload first. And there's no real rumours of players of them leaving, other than maybe Dybala, but I can't see where he's going. I think Pogba will stay this summer. I do think he'll stay.
Real Madrid, mate. Real Madrid are going to absolutely
I think they're too worried about FFP. I think Real Madrid are waiting to see what happens.
They can splurge all they want because they've done this business in this financial year. This stuff goes towards their next financial year. They're going to buy him after July.
Okay, yeah, potentially. I think Real Madrid are waiting to see what happens with Man City's appeal in the FFP to see how much money they spend. Because if Man City get away with it, if Man City are proven innocent and like they haven't broken the rules, then Real Madrid will splurge and they'll buy everyone. But at this current point, as it stands, I see Paul Pogba staying at Man United next season. Lukaku, I want him to stay. I want Lukaku to stay. He proves for Belgium and when he was at Everton that if you give him the right supply, he scores goals. And I think the problem is he hasn't had the right supply. I think we will eventually sign Gareth Bale. I think it's just. I think it'll get to somewhere around deadline day, and Ed Woodward will panic and just sign Gareth Bale, whether it be on loan or buy him. I'm not too sure yet. I think he'll come. Other than that, you get Harry Maguire is going to cost the same price that we sold Ronaldo for. I know the years have moved on, but that seems very bizarre. Like 80 million or something.
Harry Maguire, and after seeing our centre backs in the Nations League, my faith in Harry Maguire and John Stones goes down every day.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of both of us are quite level-headed, and I don't want Man United to pay that amount of money for Maguire. Even if he is used to the league and he's English and things, I just don't see him being worth that amount of money. It's just absolutely ludicrous.
I'll throw this out there, right? I don't think De Ligt is worth the money. I've watched him a fair bit over the last few months, seeing the Champions League run in, and a bit of Holland matches. I have not overly impressed, and bear with me with this comparison. Right, so De Ligt for me, there's similarities with Phil Jones. Okay? Whoa! As a Man United fan, I'd say what? So when when Phil Jones was signed by Man United, Phil Jones was 18. He was a future captain of Blackburn, physically imposing player. Signed for then big money by Fergie. I think it was kind of like best part of 20 million, like 17, 18 million, which in those monies, is a lot of money. Those days, a lot of money. And Fergie believed he would become one of the best. He showed all that promise at a young age. And the link to Phil Jones is that I think this is a really important transfer for De Ligt where he chooses to go, because I think Phil Jones, under right guidance and the right opportunities of playing time, could have become a lot better player than he is now. And I think that De Ligt is benefited from a young age of being so physically imposing and having the that leadership mentality. But I don't see a fantastic centre back there. I think that you give a lot of positive discrimination because he's only 18. It's like, well, yeah, okay, but it doesn't necessarily players. It's not a linear development line that players go on. They need to make right sort of choices there. So I think he really needs to be wary of what his next move is. And if the money being spoken about for him is big, and I think it's maybe not a risk, but I don't see it being value for money.
I think he's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's very unfair to compare him to Phil Jones. But I know what you mean.
18-year-old Phil Jones, I compared him to.
I know what you mean. But I think a lot of people at the time when we bought Phil Jones would have said that's the right career move for him, because he was going under Fergie. Fergie liked to play youngsters. Maybe it was when Fergie retired it all went a bit Pete Tong. But Phil Jones, get him out. I'd happily see him moved on. It's all a bit of a mess at United. I think the whole Ander Herrera situation, I think we touched on it before, that's a big mess. And De Gea, again...
So what's happening with De Gea? Because De Gea's got one left in his contract. Is it...
Which we extended
before this transfer window done?
It's not like we extended his 1 year deal. Like, it was built into his contract, so it's not like he had to agree to it or has signed a new contract earlier on to put this extra year on.
No.
Yeah, we've just said nope. So you're staying here for a year.
Surely, by the time this transfer window closes, one of two things needs to happen. He needs to have sold or signed a new deal.
Yeah, he has to. That has to have happened. He has to have either signed a new deal or been sold. And I think if we sold him, if we get good money, if it is PSG and we get as much money as possible out of them for him, I wouldn't begrudge him moving. After everything he's done for the club, he had a relatively bad season last season for his standards, but he's been so overworked for the goalkeeper of Man United. It's unbelievable, isn't it, when you think about it? So
yeah.
I wouldn't begrudge him a move, and I don't want is it Ayana, whatever his name is.
Onana.
Onana,
yeah. No, I was again underwhelmed by his performances, but I think I've been linked with Oblak from Madrid, which I think Atletico would be surprising if he were to have a career move, but because he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world playing and he'd be going to United, but it's that lure of United again.
Yeah, but I think the Oblak thing depends on how much. So he's got a release fee in his contract for foreign clubs or something, but it's a hell of a lot of money. So I think if we get enough money to pay that release fee from the De Gea deal, we'll just go and pay the release fee and then try and give him a contract. But what I don't want to happen is basically that, let's say we sell De Gea and then we get in Oblak and then we end up paying Oblak more money than we would have paid De Gea, when we could have just offered De Gea whatever he wanted like 6 months ago when he was still keen to stay. But it's just annoying. If we sell De Gea and we don't get someone like Oblak or someone of that, like maybe an Oblak or a Silerson, obviously who's sitting on the bench for Barcelona most of the time, who looks pretty decent when I've seen him play for Holland and the Dutch team. If we don't get someone of that sort of ilk, I would rather not go for a young goalkeeper. I think it's a very big place to fill in the club. Obviously De Gea was young when we bought him and he was very rusty at the start, but I think the cutthroat way the fans and the teams are run nowadays, I don't think a young goalkeeper is the way to go. It's not the same as Onana for Ajax. Ajax obviously dominating their league most of the time. They're in a good solid back four. He's played well in the Champions League, but if we're going to go for someone like that, just give Romero a go. Give Romero a chance as the first team goalkeeper. Whenever I've seen Romero play, his shot stopping is maybe on par with De Gea. He's a fantastic shot stopper. Romero, he doesn't catch it as much as he's more like De Gea when he first joined. He punched everything. Romero still punches quite a lot of stuff, but Romero can push shots out wide. He doesn't push shots back into the danger zone. He reacts quickly. His distribution's not the best, but I think Romero's deserved a chance as first choice goalkeeper if De Gea goes, and I wouldn't mind giving him one season to prove himself as that. But it's all very much up in the air, and I think if De Gea moves, it could start a potential big merry-go-round. Potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, especially with keepers being so finite. It's not like there's lots of options. If you lose your first choice, very rarely do you have a second choice that you want to step in. So
Yeah.
it leads to a big transfer. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Could be
exactly.
interesting.
So it's going to be very, very interesting.
So, a touch on the other top six quickly. We'll leave Chelsea because they can sell, can't buy. I'm 99% sure it's bound to be upheld, so I don't foresee them. We'll talk about that after WIKI FILES. City again, not been linked with too many in more of the outs, isn't it? Leroy Sané seems to be a potential move to Bayern. And fair, he was a bit of a bit part player coming end of the season. I think he needs more. He's young and needs to develop and play. So we'll monitor that one. There's been linked with Ben Chilwell, haven't they, at left back? And the left back is a bit of a difficult position. The fullbacks in general, a bit of a difficult position for City. Danilo's rumoured to be out, and so just leave left with Kyle Walker. They got Zinchenko, a converted left back, and Benjamin Mendy, who is very much injury prone.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm not overly convinced by Ben Chilwell personally. He's quite good, but yeah, he's probably not. If he wasn't English, I don't think City would be looking to buy him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's proven himself at a club like Leicester, and he's doing well. And I think he's quite good, Ben Chilwell. I'll take him. I would take Ben Chilwell at Man United.
He reminds me a bit of Luke Shaw, to be fair. Very similar players, I think.
Just slimmer. So.
Well, I don't know. He's quite thick as well. He's got a bit of body to him.
Okay, fair enough. Obviously, Man City's big thing, isn't it, is replacing Fernandinho, who's getting on. So.
Do you know what? I'm surprised. I'm surprised they haven't been linked with more centre backs, because obviously, there's very light De Ligt rumours, but company's gone, so
yeah,
they'd want to replace. And a rumour of Otamendi going. That means you're left with Laporte, fantastic. Stones, meh. So you'd have thought there'd be rumours of big money centre back transfers from.
Yeah, they do have a good. I know that Pep Guardiola likes the young. Is it Adarabioyo, the youngster they've got at centre back? He was a fan of him, and I think we might see him stepping in a few times. But yeah, you normally need 4, don't you? You normally need your 2 starters, a senior backup, and then a youngster.
Yeah, they're not normally going for a kind of youngsters in that. We're almost all proven players, aren't they? They utilise.
True. The main ones for Man City in midfield to replace Fernandinho, I think, are Rodri from Atletico Madrid, and then it was Bruno Fernandes, but City have said they've pulled out of the race to sign Bruno Fernandes. That was announced recently.
Yeah, I think that's all agent talk is Bruno Fernandes. I think he had a good season in Portugal, but
watch him with Man United, 34 million.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but no, I don't think he'd be a clever move.
So, what about Spurs' North London rivals, Arsenal? Not too much.
Oh, that's about as messy as United, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Rumour of not much cash and
who's in charge? Who's in charge of transfers?
Yeah. So biggest rumour in is Carrasco, but from China, I've never been overly convinced. Didn't really like him when he was at Atletico. For Belgium, he looks kind of technically okay, but it doesn't look like he's going to set the world alight. Koscielny rumoured to be out. Meunier in, maybe Meunier in. I can understand because he's okay. He's quite a good fullback. Better going forward than he's going back, but quite a big player. So maybe a threat from set pieces. Because Bellerin's obviously recovering from an awful injury last year.
Liechtenstein is gone, isn't he?
Maitland-Niles, Liechtenstein's gone. Maitland-Niles got very exposed in the Europa League final, so I can understand them wanting to get a good right back in. But personally, if I was Arsenal, I would look at selling Aubameyang.
Ooh,
if they haven't got money, they need to fund something somewhere. And Aubameyang's going to be on the down now. He's past this, but he hasn't got the pace he once had. Like you thought when he came to Premier League, this pace player. He's not slow, but he's not tearing past players. He's scoring his goals mainly through positioning rather than like playing on the shoulder. I would sell him because there's rumour of big money from China. If they can get that, they can then start to rebuild a little bit. But yeah, it's a bit. I don't know if they would do it because obviously he was top scorer in the Premier League last year, so it's a bit of a risk. But
can't see them leaving. I can't see him leaving Arsenal. No way. I think the board are quite hated already by the fans. I think that would be the tip them over the edge, straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing. If they sold Aubameyang, I think there would be riots.
Yeah, they need to get rid of. I think they need to get rid of Ozil as well, but I'm not sure who on earth would take him for anything really.
No, I can't suddenly see Ozil as maybe a player swap with someone. I just don't know who or where. So because like it will be the sort of thing with the other club, whoever they are, get a player off their wage bill so that they can take Ozil's wage. And it's sort of similar with Arsenal. Yeah. That's the only way I can see him really moving. But yeah, be interesting.
I can see. I mean, Ozil's had some ties with Turkey in the past, in his personal point of view. But I could see maybe a Turkey move coming at some point. But
not now. It's too expensive.
A lot of Turkish sides are in financial trouble, so I'm not sure there'll be too much money going around. But yeah,
exactly. So and then Liverpool. Not too much Liverpool being mentioned, more outs than ins again. So.
Yeah, rumour of Lovren out, which I'm not sure will be upset too many people.
No, Shaqiri being rumoured as well.
And a few gaps, obviously, because Sturridge is gone and Moreno gone. Sturridge, where can you see him ending up?
I don't know. That's a very interesting question. I never really thought about it.
I think he'll have a lot of suitors because everybody have that hope of being able to cure his injury problems, because he was a fantastic player that season with Suarez. He was just fantastic. He really electrifying pace, pretty two-footed off a shot, could pass. If there's if he could go, all right, no injury problems, I'd take him Spurs in a heartbeat as that backup to Kane and a different option, but. It seems like a West Ham transfer.
It seems West Ham-y. I also think like if he's English, so Burnley might take. If I was Burnley, I'd take a punt at something different. Put him alongside a big man and get him to try and run him behind whenever he's fit. Like put him alongside Chris Wood and see what happens, sort of thing. But whether Burnley could afford his wages,
he would hate being at Burnley.
Of course he would, but he probably likes getting paid thousands of pounds a week. So maybe Everton, West Ham, that sort of Watford.
Everton couldn't because of Liverpool link, could he?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Watford. He's an upgrade of Andre Gray, isn't he? So.
Watford maybe.
But he's never. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Has he ever been down south other than Chelsea? Because he was Birmingham, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, that's
depends if he likes the northern parts of the UK Isles or. If he's open to moving anywhere, I guess. But yeah, no, that's an interesting one. And then Moreno leaving, so they need a backup left back, because I haven't heard of a youngster left back at Liverpool that will come and step in. So
no, agreed. Yeah,
but yeah,
and we'll see, because if Robertson was to go out, they need to replace, because it's such a vital cog in their machine. The bumming on fullbacks, they need to make sure they have something suitable as a replacement if they were to fall out.
I would say I think Liverpool are in the tough position of they're signing players that know they'll be back up because of how well they did last season, and that's always tougher, isn't it? I think that's been one of Spurs' problems.
You look at that side, you think there's probably only, and harsh to say, but probably only the centre-back position alongside Virgil van Dijk is the only one up for offer. Everybody else has pretty much got settled, aren't they?
Yeah, very true. So, okay, well, let's leave that there. Let us know what you think of your club's transfer rumours and stuff down below and in the comment section and on Twitter and all that stuff. But Josh, it is time to move on to the infamous Wiki Files, because I got a Wiki File. Here comes a Wiki File. I got a Wiki File for you. Hey, right, if you see it, say it. Tell the listeners what you see.
I see. Do I see Maxi Rodriguez?
We covered this in the last Wiki Files. You're not allowed to just say the name. So yes, you do see Maxi Rodriguez, but you've ruined it. You've ruined it for everybody.
Oh no!
Right, what is his career? You twat. We don't swear very often on this podcast, but you fucking twat.
Oh no! Sorry.
Go on then.
So, we could edit it out.
No. It's too late.
To save my blushes. Right, so they started their career in Newell's Old Boys. I love the team name Newell's Old Boys. It's one of my favourite team names.
Well, good, because you're going to mention it 3 times. So.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think it might be Pochettino's club as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and the goal scoring midfielder this guy looks like maybe kind of an attacking midfielder, maybe on the right footed, I reckon. Maybe looks a little bit like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
So yeah, he scored 20 goals and 57 league appearances. Lovely. In 3 years. Let's get a move to. I mean, this is again very similar to Pochettino. Moves to Espanyol, 26 goals in 111 appearances. So he acclimatises quite well to Europe. And Atletico Madrid take a little punt on him. 32 goals, 121 appearances. He's loving it. Then I think this is kind of like a bit after his peak, isn't it, when he moves to Liverpool?
Yeah, I was trying to remember which manager bought him. Was it Benitez?
Which manager bought him? 2010 would have been. Do you know, it seems past Benitez. I'm not quite sure when he left, because 05 was the Champions League win. Was he there for another 5 years?
Yeah, no, he wasn't. You're right. You carry on. I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, so he does okay. I mean, I don't really remember him too much at Liverpool, to be honest with you. Do you know what the standout memory for me for this player is his goal
Against Mexico.
in the World Cup. Was it against Mexico? That volley?
Yeah. Unbelievable goal. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, didn't really pull up too many trees, but then obviously loves Newell's Old Boys so much that it almost seems like he'd gone back there to retire. But he didn't retire there. Like it made his bookend. But then he was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go to Peñarol and play for a couple of seasons, or a season, sorry. Then he's
still playing.
Going.
He's still playing, yeah, for Newell's Old Boys, yeah.
At age what?
Oh, 100? No idea.
Got to be 38 or something like that?
He's got to be around that, yeah. He's got to be around that. I'll have a quick look in a sec. But just to let you know, when was he signed? Do we know? We don't know the month, do we? Because if he was signed in 2010, Benitez was still there. Benitez left in June 2010, and then he was replaced by Hodgson.
It was Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, okay.
After securing his signature, Rafa Benitez described him as a comfortable on the ball, can pass and keep possession. He's good at getting into the box and scoring goals, and is a good finisher. Right, blimey, covering all bases there.
Yeah. He's 38, yeah. He's currently 38 and still,
oh my
still
goodness,
playing
I know
in
him
Argentina.
like he's my own brother.
Yeah. But, well done, Josh. You got it, but you ruined it in the same...
I ruined it for everybody.
You ruined it for everybody. After we had that whole conversation 2 weeks ago, don't just blurt it out, even if you know it. Bloody hell. You can see,
I'm sorry.
Everyone can give a bit of abuse to Josh in the comments for that, because he ruined the Wiki Files this week. He's got no one else to blame.
Hold on, Dave. Hold on here.
Hey. Go on.
Do you know Newell's Old Boys have in their squad
Right.
Alexis Rodriguez and Dennis Rodriguez? So they have his cousins play with him. That's got to be one of a few times that 3 family members have played for the same club.
Yeah, that's impressive. Is it? Do you reckon he's there and he's still, and I'm using air quotes here, playing because of the family members? Like,
I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? If anyone knows anything about Argentinian football, Newell's Old Boys, or wants to do research behind it, let us know. Have they lined up together? Have they earned their position in this squad, or is it kind of some really very large amount of nepotism going on? Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there you go, Josh. You've done the Wiki Files. You ruined it, so lead us into the poll. You can't ruin your own poll, can you?
Can ruin my own poll. I'm about to give the results away straight away.
Okay, yeah. Go for it.
So, Chelsea are in a bit of a weird situation. So they have a high of winning the Europa League, but hanging over them was the potential transfer out of Eden Hazard, which is now taken place. He has moved to Real Madrid, as we mentioned. They have a potential transfer ban in place, which they are currently appealing, but whether that will get lifted and they'll be able to sign players this summer, I'm pretty sure they won't get it. So therefore, the manager in place will have to deal with the hand he's been dealt, and that was Sarri until we mentioned earlier that he has confirmed his move to Juventus. So they now have a potential vacancy with a manager who's got to deal with having their best player transferred out and not being able to bring in any new players. And at the moment, that looks the man in the running is Frank Lampard, the one season not very wonder of him in charge of Derby, pretty average season overall. So I posed a question: if Lampard was to be in charge, the transfer ban was to be upheld, and Hazard, as he has done, left, where would Chelsea finish next season if all three happened? And so the options were winners, they'd finish in the top 4, they'd finish in the top 6, or they'd finish outside the top 6. So before I give the result away, Dave, what would you vote for?
I voted outside top 6.
I also voted outside top 6.
And
that was also the winner of the poll. 34% of the vote outside top 6. Then it was people. 29% thought it'd finish top 4. 24% would finish in 5th or 6th, and 13% of the 63 voters, the deluded 13 as we call them, think they would win the title.
Yeah, I mean, it's if Lampard gets the job, I think it will be a huge mistake for the club, for him. I just can't see it working.
I'm more concerned about him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, similar to the way that I can't see Solskjaer really working. I don't think anyone can see Solskjaer really working. It's just, it's such a big ask, isn't it, for Lampard, if this happens. If he's lost his best player, they have a transfer ban, and then he has to come in and deal with it with the players he's got. I don't know, maybe that's the point. It's not just Lampard, is it? They're looking at, is it Jody Morris? I can't remember his name.
Yes, his assistant.
Assistant, yeah. So, I'm just not sold. I don't think he's got the experience. I think it's too much of a struggle for Lampard to get them into the top 4. Top 6 potentially, but that's it. It's potential. That's why I voted top 6, outside top 6.
Yeah, I agree, and I think this is kind of this would surely be like peak. If Lampard could say which job would he want, it would be managing Chelsea, and I doubt he'd ever want it to be like this.
Yeah.
And if he was to take it now, I can't see him getting another chance at doing it. And so I think it would be... And not to mention that he's got players that... There's always talk about bringing youth through, but he's got... I don't know when, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Callum Hudson-Odoi are both out of Achilles injuries. It's too... for me, I don't think he'll be a success in this, because I don't think he's actually done very well with Derby.
No.
They didn't set the world light at all.
I also...
I think...
just want to point out that wouldn't it cost them basically the compensation money they get in for Sarri? Wouldn't they have to basically give it straight to Derby to go and get him out? Like 6 million each, I think, isn't it? Which is ludicrous.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 and 4 or something like that. Yeah, it's all very similar, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous when you think that Frank Lampard hasn't. Why would you pay that money for someone that hasn't won anything when Juventus can pay that money and get someone that's won the Europa League? Okay, it's not a major European trophy, but it's a trophy. He's got Chelsea into the top 4 when no one thought he was going to get top 4. He's proven in Italy. It just doesn't weigh up. It's very, very strange. And I on a personal level for Frank Lampard, I wouldn't take it. I'd be like, it's a great opportunity. But then, is it the only chance he'll get the opportunity to manage them? That's the thing.
Well, not if he no, because footballers always back themselves to be I'm going to be the best, and so if he thinks he's going to have a good career and become a good manager, he'll think surely he'll have a chance at later on, because I mean it's not like Chelsea stay with the same manager for 20 years.
Very true.
Got plenty of chances.
Very true.
Other names linked are Rafa Benitez 9-1. So Frank Lampard's 20-1 on at the moment.
Wow, 20-1
crazy.
On. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Then there's Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho, Eric Ten Hag, Max Allegri, Nuno Espirito Santo is up there.
Okay, I could see that. That's a bit more logical.
Yeah, and you got Diego Simeone, Eddie Howe, Javi Gracia, and Laurent Blanc are the others which have been mentioned. I mean, it might be tough for them to actually get someone in, because like it's a poison chalice, isn't it? It's like you've lost Eden Hazard and you can't buy any new players. And you've got Pulisic has come in, is somewhat like for like in terms of position, but they're miles apart in current ability. Maybe not potential ability, but currently they're worlds apart.
Yeah, it's a very... Yeah, it's a poison chalice, like you say. I know the Chelsea fans I don't think would like it, but if Benitez went there, I think that would be a very sensible appointment. Not
Because, well, I mean, Ref Benitez effectively has worked under a transfer ban at Newcastle because they spent very minimal amounts of money.
well, and he will know the club. Abramovich will know what sort of manager he is because they've worked together before at Chelsea. It all sort of ties up into Benitez being a good appointment. But then I don't know. Like people were saying Allegri, but he said he's going to have a break. But could the money tempt him out of coming out of that sabbatical that he said he wants to have? And I don't know. It's all a bit of a mess. Would you take it if you got offered the job? If you were, let's say, you were managing a mid-table Premier League team, like a Newcastle, would you move to Chelsea, knowing their predicament?
Do you know what? Yeah, if I had the experience and I thought I was in a position ready for it, and like I probably would take it because I think. I know you might not succeed, but you also everybody's fully understanding you've taken on a tough job there.
Yeah.
And you go, oh look, well he didn't have any money to spend, did he? And look how unlucky he was. Kepa got injured. It's like he couldn't buy anyone because do they allow emergency loans?
They do have under a transfer window, do they? That's a very good point. Call Rob Green up, get him back.
Yeah.
So
It's Yeah, although it's funny with emergency loans, isn't it? Just for goalkeepers, like, well, what about youth players? But I think I would take it because I think you'd be playing Champions League football. You'd probably back yourself to be able to do something. It's not like they've got a shocking squad.
But this is what I mean. Like when I said to you, is this Frank Lampard's only chance of doing it? If he got offered it, you'd think he would back himself to do a good job there. So he would take it.
I could.
So
I imagine he's very torn at this point in time, but I think he would have, if he backs himself as a manager, I think he'd have other chances to do it. But as someone who's more established, maybe they might think that their face might not fit Chelsea under normal circumstances. But if the opportunity arose now, maybe it does.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting one. Let us know down below what you think on that as well. Do you think Chelsea should go for Lampard? Do you think Lampard should go to Chelsea? Or is there a manager better out there suited for it? Why not go for Luis Felipe Scolari again? That worked well. He must be out of work somewhere. Yeah. Can you remember that?
There must be another Italian manager they can have. I mean, how many? Yeah. Must be the old Italian manager derby in Serie A. Old Chelsea manager derby in Serie A, mustn't they? All facing each other.
They all do go back there. Yeah. Oh, Ranieri, get Ranieri back. Get the Tinkerman back in Chelsea. That'd be amazing. He needs a job. But yeah. Anyway, I think we've come to the end, Josh.
Yeah.
Unless
well, there's one thing.
Yeah,
just to make me happy, but I've just seen a news interview with Tanguy and Ndombele, and he's quoted. It was a video of him saying, "They are a big club. Finished fourth in the league, Champions League runners-up. Which player would not be interested in joining a big club? Thank you, Ndombele. I'll see you in a Spurs shirt this week."
So, on that bombshell, to quote Top Gear, which is something I don't think we've ever done on this podcast before, we'll call it there. So, thank you very much for listening, guys. If you want... I just sounded Dutch then. I went all Steve McLaren. Listening. Thank you very much for listening, and if you want to find us on all the social medias, you just have to search for Football Talk. If you're very brave, you can search for Michael Ballsack on YouTube and SoundCloud and Spotify, and you'll find that very specific episode which made us all laugh our heads off. But yes, we are Football Talk on SoundCloud, Spotify and YouTube, where it all started. If you want to join in with the WIKI Files next week when Josh doesn't spoil it, because he'll be giving it to me, then on YouTube you get to see the actual stats come up on the screen, and on SoundCloud and Spotify we will be going through it manually. Is that the right thing to say? I guess manually is the right thing to say. But thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week. For now, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Josh.
Sorry, everyone.